Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, we are back with Anno on the live, so we'll give all you a little time to view, get in, see what Anno have to say, what is the topic of the day, and all these sorts of things. So we give it all you some time. So just watch the brother by the time now. Looking fresh, so fresh and so clean, clean. Wait, no, what's saying, brother?
Nothing,
Oh,
you know.
there's a look. I like the look. The blue look good on you.
Morning. Good morning.
Da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na.
Morning. Good morning. Yes, it is a good morning.
Truly. Alright, so Anno on the wall. Anno is back again. I just love to say that other song there. Anno is back on the wall. What is the topic of the day, Anno?
You know, today I want to talk about sacrifice,
Right.
and I want to talk about respect.
Okay.
You know, sacrifice. Now, sacrifice, the meaning of sacrifice, there are many meanings of sacrifice, or many ways that, you know, people will characterize a sacrifice. But oftentimes when you hear religious people especially, you know, under a particular discipline, and they hear the term sacrifice, they often relate it to a particular ritual that, you know, people do, where they would be, you know, killing of animals, you know, to do certain ritual.
Right.
And because we lack or we don't have the understanding of it, you know, one of the things that we would do, or one of the things that we do, we criticize and we condemn. You know, very negative and judgmental, because we don't understand, right? So the basic concept and the basic meaning of sacrifice really is giving up one thing for another.
Okay.
Right? When somebody say, I'm making a sacrifice on my job because I need to accumulate a certain amount of money to buy probably a house or a car, or to finish pay a debt, they're willing to give up their time to work extra hours. You know, they give up their time, their family, or whatever other occasion they may have. So they are willing to give up their time, their hours, and everything for this particular purpose.
Right.
Right? Because they're looking to gain something or reap something. So that is the basic concept of what sacrifice is. Right? You're giving up something to replace or to get something.
Okay.
Right? In the religious aspect of it, you know, when they say religious, you know, there are some practices who would do different set of sacrifice that they would call it offerings. Right? They do certain set of sacrifice and thing where it might have the killing of, could it be birds, cow, dog, cats, whatever. In some cases, humans.
Right.
Right? Now, if we want to sit down and we goes back to our prehistoric time, you know, to our ancestors and thing, they used to do a lot of sacrifices.
True.
Right? And they would have done sacrifices for different gods that governs different things. They will do a sacrifice to the rain god, or to the rain goddess, or to the sun god, or to the winter god or goddess, or whoever it is, you know. So they were willing to give up something that is dear or precious to them in order to receive something. So they would have made sacrifices by offering an animal or killing an animal or whatever the case may be, in order to get more rain to plant, or more sun, or for the winter not to be so harsh on them, you know, to the river god, you know, so it could always produce fishes, or to the sea god, or to the wind god, or to the fire god. Right? So they would have given up these sacrifice and things. And that is, you know, way back when, and all these things. And then we coming down the road into when the biblical stories come into play now, where you would find that there was also sacrifice, right? And what would happen was, when someone would do what they would call sinning or sin, you know, which they would call sin, you know, something that is not one of God's law, going against the law of God, you know, they characterize it as sin. They would offer unto him one of the offering they will do a sacrifice unto him, whether it be a bullock, whether it be a sheep, whether it be a goat, whether it be whatever. Those are one of the sacrifices they would have done.
Right.
And this sacrifice would have replaced whatever sin they would have done. This sacrifice would have come now to replace it. Right? So, you know, so from then, and even this practice of sacrifice, it continue even up to today. Right? But you know, when one read the Bible, you know, and they come across to the paragraph or the phrase in the Bible when it's saying that's how Jesus had paid, you know, that ultimate price, where he laid down his body as a living sacrifice for man, you know, so there shall be no more blood sacrifices. Right? But you see, the thing with that whole paragraph or parable or statement or whatever we wish to call it, is that it is incomplete.
Right.
Because it goes on to say that there shall be no more blood sacrifices for sin.
Right.
Right? So eliminate the for sin. So all we emphasize on is no sacrifice. The Bible say that, you know, God come to pay that price for sacrifice, and he do the sacrifice and thing. But according to reading, according to that particular story, that sacrifice, that the manifestation of the Christ came to pay was a sacrifice, or to stop, was for sin. Right? Sin. You know, it was based on, you know, in other words, if you sin or you do something that is wrongful in the eyesight of God, you don't need to go and kill your bullock, or a heifer, which is a cow or a bull, or a sheep, you know, or any animal, to ask for forgiveness for that particular sin.
Right.
Right? You don't have to do that no more, because this ultimate price was paid for it to cover all these things.
Okay.
Right? But that sacrifice, or those sacrifice, was for something in particular, and that was for sin
Only.
right? For sin sacrifice, he paid that price, right? So now you don't have to buy 2 cock or wherever to do that for sin because that was already paid.
Right.
But sacrifice is something that that exists whether we acknowledge it or not.
Right.
Simplify. You're mining fowls, chicken, even goat, sheep, whatever you're mining. You know, you have nothing in your house to cook, but you have animals. So, what would you do? You know, you go outside, you catch one of these nice cock, you hear crowing the loudest.
Right.
You run and you catch that cock. You kill it. Right? So in other words, you sacrifice the cock. But we ain't gonna call it sacrifice because we ain't really sacrificing. We just kill it because we go in and eat it.
Right. Same sacrifice.
Right? But it's the same thing because you're sacrificing for, and the reason why you sacrifice this particular animal is you take away his life or its life, right? To fulfill another need.
Right.
Right? So then they go say, yeah, but we ain't doing no prayers and we ain't having no
sacrifice is sacrifice.
Right. So you may not have a ritual where a set of people stand up and you all sing or you do whatever all your wishes, all your chooses to do.
Right.
You may not do it in that way. But sometimes when they get, you say, oh gosh, oh God, a time can have foulness. Oh God. God. Jesus, it's a good thing to have foul in the yard.
Because you get wild fowl.
Right? So, you know, you're done making acknowledgement and you're done giving praise and thing. And then when the table is set, this is here. Come, let us pray. Let us give God thanks for this food that we have just eaten. Right? So when you really and truly look at it, you know, it's no different, you know. Right? So, you know, so we would say that but I not sacrifice, I hungry, but it's the same thing. Because you're giving up something, you're giving up the life of the fowl or the whatever animal you choose to gain something. Right? And in the first place, one of the reasons why you buy that and you sacrifice to buy the fowls or to get the fowls, or you sacrifice to get up every morning to feed these animals is because you're going to kill it.
One day.
Right? And I'm not speaking about people with pets. I'm talking about people who mine animals for food. Right? So now, oftentimes we try to look at it differently. Right? And we try to justify that cause. But it boils down to the same thing. Right? Just the mere fact that you have to go and even if you go and pick up fruit from a tree, you know, it's a sacrifice that you making to do that.
Right.
Right? So now, so once we start to understand these things and this condescending way that we have when we hear the term sacrifice, we should start to understand, right? And if we want to be even under the Christian title, right? Not all Christians may partake in this ritual, but it's a ritual that have been partaken by plenty Christians who don't promote the so-called sacrifice, blood sacrifice, right? Now, some of these people or discipline who do their blood sacrifice because people make or have sacrifices for plenty different reasons, right? they will give offering for plenty different reasons. You know, they might give an offering because they finish build a house, or they buy something, or they accomplish something, or they get a job, or somebody recover from sickness, or somebody might be ill, and their custom and practices, they need to do this offering for that.
Right.
Right? Which, if you read the Bible, it doesn't tell it at all one shouldn't do this type of offering. It just speaks about specifically offering no sacrifice for sin. Right? So, that being said, so those of you who not seeing the big picture or seeing it deeper, that sacrifice is a thing that we all partake in.
Yes.
One way or the other.
True.
Right? So like and one of the greatest offering or sacrifice we make, right? Before I start getting into that, well, I'm getting into it, but for example, these people who will do these rituals or these sacrifice or these offering, as we would call it, you know, they might do it once for the year or twice for the year, right? According to what it is, and the seriousness or the commitment or the type of sacrifice, right? But there are some disciplines, some religious disciplines, who do sacrifices every month, right? Every month, whether it's those who do it on a Sunday, whether it's the first Sunday, the second Sunday, the third Sunday, or the fourth Sunday of every month, they have their sacrifice. They do sacrifice, right? And they do their sacrifices would be, they will tell you, you know, you come before the altar, they put a piece of what they would call a bread. That is not the correct term for the thing, but we just call it a bread, and they will give you a glass or a little shot glass of wine to drink, right? Now that is a ritual, right? Because here they're telling you the bread represents the body and the wine represents the blood, right? Partake of this. In other words, partake of this sacrifice as often as you can in remembrance of me. Right? So this bread that we have in, it represents our body, right? No. It the only is the, you see now, and this scenario, it comes similar or as equal as, for example, if a person said, who me? I don't eat meat. I don't eat no meat. I stop eating meat and I'm not eating meat. But yet they're telling you, when you show the food, it's a little dry, just spread some meat sauce
On it.
on the food. Right? And yes, I agree. They did not eat any meat. But the essence or the substance that the meat would have given them, they get in it via the sauce.
Right.
So it's the same thing, but just in a different way.
Yeah, because when you're cooking it, you have to taste.
But naturally, so but that being said, so when you're talking about communion, right? Is that same sacrifice, right? You honor and you offer up God, and metaphorically, or as a symbol, symbolically, you're using these bread and these wine to represent a body and it representing our blood. When people doing their sacrifice ritual or the ceremony, this is what it requires. A body and blood.
And that's it.
Right? When they done do the sacrifice, some of them may burn the meat, some of them will eat the meat, some of them will put the meat for whoever to eat. Right? And they will take the blood and they will do whatever they will do with the blood. Right? And those that who do communion, they're doing the same thing. They're taking the body, they're partaking of the body, and they're taking the blood and they're partaking of the blood.
Exactly.
So it's no different. But the only difference is That is not a sacrifice. That is called communion.
Fancy name.
But it boils down to the same
thing, exactly.
So the more we try to spend time to criticize and condemn these things, is the more we need to sit down and examine what we are doing.
Yes, self. True.
Right? So, because plenty things we do, the things that we contradict, is the same thing we doing, but it make it even worse for us because we're doing the same thing that we're contradicting and not aware of is the same thing we doing.
Different religion will make it seem like, you know, them own different from, but it's the same thing, exactly.
Thing, you know?
They just give it a different name
and a title.
And then everybody say that's something different, but it's the same when you listen to yeah.
Because here we telling you, make this sacrifice as often as you can.
Yeah, and everybody lining up.
Remembrance or in remembrance of me. Right? So when whoever other religion decide, hey, I'm gonna do an offering unto so and so, or I'm gonna do an offering for so and so, and an offering for this, and an offering to whoever they ordain as their God.
Right.
It becomes demonical. But the same thing you condemning, the same thing you criticizing
is normal.
Is the same thing that you doing, just in a different way. Yes. So which means before we start to criticize something that is not into our religion or our culture or our way or belief or customs that we choose to serve God, search it out.
Right.
Right? Understand the rituals these people doing and search it out before we becoming condescending.
Exactly.
Right? You know, because when they hear, when they see you and they talk and they say what they have to say and pass the judgment and thing, you know, because you will find people who belongs to the spiritual realm, like if we call them like in Trinidad, you know, we will call them like the Baptists or the Orishas, you know. And then it will have, well, not really the Baptists as much, but more the Orishas and thing. And then it will have Hindus, it will have even Muslims. A particular time of the year, they would do an offering and they would do their blood sacrifice. Right? And when we see these things, we become so condescending and we so criticize and we so judgmental towards it. But this is we standing up in front of the altar of the church and taking our bread and taking our wine that represents our body and blood. So when you're talking about these things, our body and blood, right? It represents these things, but you know, it's okay, we can take it because it is not blood sacrifice. This is Jesus and this is the blood. This is the body of Jesus and this is the blood. Right? So, you know, and we accept this and we do this thing. Or we who not partaking in our sacrifice and we don't do sacrifice, but we line up in front of the meat shop. How much for this chicken here? Let me get this chicken and thing. And the people in the meat shop, they sacrifice the chicken to get money.
Exactly.
Right? And you partake in it, and then when you go home, you start to pray, because you know, God, I wanted to bless this food and bless us so we could, you know. So, these are something for me to think about. These are something for me to process. You know, so when you hear the term sacrifice, don't let us look at it condescending.
Because every day we sacrifice a mosquito.
But naturally.
Because when it bites me, it's either me or the mosquito.
All right. So So when it comes to that, we need to be a little slower to pass judgment.
Exactly.
Because there are plenty things that we do that or those that are under the umbrella of Christianity, you know, that create this image that we so that they are, I'm all in we, but that they are so better than, that they are so more closer to God, right? And the truth of the matter is worse, because you're partaking in rituals that you don't even understand
Facts.
what you're partaking in, right? You're doing things that you know you don't understand, you know, and the way how they would have their communion, you know, is just like long time they used to write a note on a paper, put it in a bird, still doing it now, and that bird would fly to whoever and they get the news. And then when we come out of that time, you start to have boats to carry mails, then you start to have planes to carry mails, and then, you know, so then now you could have write it instead of have and mail it out, and then now you would have you could have pick up your telephone now, your home phone, and you dial and you sit down and you call to, you know, for your messages or whatever. Now you know, now we have cell phone. You could be any part and you could pull out this device and you could, you know, you can make a call and you can make a message, but you're doing it for the same purpose, right? To deliver a message back and forth, right? But just different, you know. And this is this modern day sacrifice in comparison to, you know, the sacrifice that was in the past, you know. But because we lack of understanding, right, we look at it and, you know, and we're not taking time to meditate, and we're not taking time to read carefully, you know. First thing we jump up, that is not of God. That's the first thing we say, that is not of God. Because God say in the Bible, if you're reading the Bible, and they will tell you the chapter, the verse, how many letters, which part they get the ink to print it, the exact tree they use to cut to get the paper, and everything they will tell you where you can get that. But they don't have read down to the bottom telling you, you know, no more offering, sin offering or offering for sin because you have paid the price, or whatever the case may be, right? So these are the things we leave out, you know. No more blood sacrifice, and not me, and not on that, and the Bible says so and so. But yet we stand up and we have however we have, you know, to eat this body and to drink this blood as often as we can in remembrance of thee. Yet we be in the market with our trolley to buy meat to eat.
True.
You understand? So you know, and this boils down to respect.
Respect each other relation.
Right? That is why the way how a person chooses to serve his God, only thing you have to do with that is respect it. You don't need to learn it. You don't need to follow it. You don't need to believe in it. All you just need to do, that is his choice or her choice.
Respect it.
Respect it.
Truly.
Right? And you know, as we're talking about respect, respect is a very unused word and unused action, right? And this is what have a lot of murders, a lot of killing, you know, like genocide, and a lot of people hungry and homeless, and that have a lot of problems that going on in the world today, because we lack that respect thereof for mankind.
True.
Right? And respect is something that we don't have understand the importance of respect. Right? And hence the reason why we are told to respect one another. We are told to have respect for the man that is sitting next to you. Right? And treat him with equal respect as they will treat a king. Right? And if you want to do a relation to the Bible and thing, you know, there was a story that that they say Jesus was in the marketplace, and he been in the marketplace, this woman thing, and she bounced up to him and she, oh gosh, you know, it's a privilege, it's an honor, and she gave him that respect. And then she turned and she said to him, you know what, I will cook for you. I will cook in honor and in respect of you, and I'm inviting you home to my place.
Right.
So, you know, he think about it. He said, boy, okay, I will pass you. So he said to her, hey, well, yeah, I will come. So she went to him and she cooked up a stone. She well cooked. But he never came to her in the way that how she had expected it, according to reading.
Right.
You know, he came to her 3 times. Right? He came to her as a beggar, as a homeless child, and as a prostitute. Right? And, you know, and she did not have the respect for these 3 energies that came to her. Right? And she frowned upon them, and she run them with utmost scorn, right? And dislike. You know, so now she felt disrespected. So another day, she fly down the road, and you know, she waiting on this man. I'm waiting here for he, because he make me go home, and he make me cook all this food, and I here waiting on he, and he never come, and he never this, and he never come, and I go in and see him, and I had to tell him my mind. So when she see him now, she's like, you know, rabbi, master, whatever, teacher, whatever she call him. How come you tell me you're coming and you make me cook? And how come, you know, you never pass by and have all this food and thing? He said to her, you mean I never passed by? I don't understand what you're saying. I came by you 3 times, and all the time I came, right, you never accepted me. Right? You never accepted me. You refused me all the times.
Right.
Right? Now you're coming to tell me that how I am come, and when I come you disrespect me. Now you upset. Right? So this little piece of paraphrasing and paragraph, right? And paragraph, this is what it illustrates, where respect is concerned.
Right.
This is why when you are told to respect one another, this is what you must do with great passion.
True.
Right? Because the person that who is sitting next to you,
just don't know who they are.
You don't know who they are. right? And all of us are connected. All of us are connected to our foreparents. All of us are connected to, we ought to call them, who are now our ancestors. We are all connected, right? And plenty of us, we have lost our true identity. We have lost our culture, right? That being said, one of us, you, this one, that one, we could be a lineage that our foreparents or forefather was a king. We could have been the lineage that our foreparents were known as the wise one. They were the teachers.
Right.
They were the counselors, that who the kings would go to for counseling or for advice, the advisors.
Right.
Right? The person sitting down next to you, he or she, they could have been from a lineage that their foreparents were the healers.
Right.
Right? So when whoever's sick, they would go to these people and they would make medicine and heal. Right? There are those who belongs to the lineage of hunters, right? Who would go out in the bush, out in the jungle, out in the sea, wherever, in the desert, in the plain, wherever. Yes, to hunt. You know, they would go out to hunt. You know? And if they don't go and hunt, the village just doesn't eat.
True.
Right? Then they'll have those who are the warriors. They have to protect the village from intruders. So you know, the person is sitting down next to, he could come from one of these lineage. And the truth being told, if you are sitting down next to Prince Charles, and you did not know he is Prince Charles, let me say he's an ordinary man, and you decide to disrespect him, or belittle him or embarrass him, disrespect him, right? You could be executed.
One time.
You could be killed. You could be shot. You could be faced with imprisonment. Right? You know, because you don't know and you don't understand who is sitting next to you. So you know, that is why we ought to respect each other. Because the person that you can be talking to, or the person who can be talking to you, he can be talking to, you can be talking to the lineage of royalty family, and he can be talking to the lineage of healers. And they both show one another respect, because you don't know who you are speaking to.
True.
Right? And this is what this story is telling you. You don't know who, so you respect each person and every person the same.
Doesn't matter who they are.
It don't matter who they are. Right? So you would find now there are some of us, you know, because you ain't dressed like me, you ain't looking like me, you ain't have my kind of financial background and all these kind of things. They look at you and they frown upon you, you know, and they treat you with this sort of resentment or disrespect, you know, and that is simply because they don't understand fully who they are.
Right.
And understand the importance of who they're dealing with. Right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm coming just now.
So, respect. So once you start to respect somebody and respect a man or a woman, you will find the relationship with this person will be different. Right? Now, for example, when people hear, of course, 3 men get killed. That man killed that man. This next one killed this one. This country rebelling and they going into war. It boils down to respect. Right? Because, for example, if I, and then you know, the first thing we'd turn and say, or we would say, a job related. Yes, one of the things that might create our relationship might be job related, and I'm not debating that. But that being said, it boils down to respect, because there are people who have drug relationship and there is no killing between them.
Exactly.
Right? Because one person respect the other and vice versa. Now you would see, let me say for example, I'm a money lender, and you know, you come by me and you borrow $1,000. Right? Now I have other people who I just lend money to as well. So when you come now and you borrow $1,000 and you're supposed to pay me back, and you're not calling me, you're not paying me, you're not sending no message, you're not doing nothing. Every time I try to reach you or call you, you're avoiding my calls, or you're not, well, you're avoiding my calls, or you're cutting me off short. Right? What you are doing there now, you are disrespecting me. And when you disrespect me in that way, I now need to set an example. Because I'm not taking that disrespect. Because if you doing me that, I might lend a next man $1,000, and he now will choose to disrespect our deal. Right? And when he disrespects, or she disrespects that deal, then nobody will have respect for you in that phase or in that way.
Right.
I could go by and take money, means I've gained it back. You know? Because they lost their respect.
And disrespect doesn't only mean cussing and carry on.
No, it's not about ways. Using profanity.
But I'm just saying it have different ways of being disrespected.
And that's correct. Right? So when you do that now, and you take my money and I reaching you and I'm not getting on to you, I need to set an example. Right? I need to claim back my respect. And I need to set my example. I need to set an example. You know, and there are brothers or sisters who choose different ways to set this example. Right? But the reason why they're doing this is because they felt disrespected.
Right.
So they reacted on that. Right? When our next country want to go in another country and take over the other country, the leader of that country would feel disrespected. So in other words, he would retaliate. So a war would start.
Yes.
Right? So this is the reason why respect is so important. Right? One, it prevents havoc and chaosness. Two, you do not know who you are actually speaking to or socializing with. Right? And if you're sitting down to one of these or set of people that I have called and you don't have respect for them, you know, the village or the town or the country would frown upon you, you know, because you are disrespectful. You know, so hence the reason why we ought to respect one another. Hence the reason why, you know, when you hear people talk about certain things, instead of trying to be condescending and we want to say, well, I am saved and I don't have to do that, and all this sort of emptiness, you know, we ought to remember these things, respect.
Yeah, and just sit back and watch things on a different point of view.
On a different point of view. We need to be more open and we need to do research. You know, because this sacrificing have been a thing that people talk about, and sometimes you'll be sitting down and you'll hear pastors come up, you know, and they will start to ridicule sacrifice and talk all kind of thing, and then they will talk about the Bible say blah 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 blah. You know? But if you ask them, so you just eat meat? You just buy meat? Well, yeah.
What have to do with the Bible?
What have to do with anything? You know? But it is a form of sacrifice. It boils down to sacrifice. So whether or not you wish to agree or disagree, what I want you to do is sit down, think about it, meditate about it, you know, open your mind and understand the whole concept of it.
Right.
You know, and so now when you understand that, you will be able to respect other people's things, right?
Views.
Thanks. Or respect other people's views and other people's way or livelihood, right? By you doing that, you will also make you even a better person, right? Now, what I'm saying is that I'm not telling you to partake in certain rituals that people might be doing, you know, because, but if you're saying that, well, best I could go and do that, you don't have to. If it is not of you, you don't have to. But not because you don't partake of it, it means you should criticize it.
Or it's bad.
Or it's bad. You understand what I'm saying? Just understand and respect, well, you know, that's their practice.
It don't really change the person. It don't change if that is your friend or not, because people look different. They are friends and on different religion, and because they're not in the same field with them, some of them that say that can't be my friend because I wish it does, but it don't change the person who they are. Precisely. Regardless of what sacrifice or whatever they may take part in. The friendship to you is true, one, and the respect enough to respect your wishes in whatever it may be.
Precisely. So you know, so next time you go about and you're talking and you're trying to be condescending or condemning about people and them sacrificing and all them things, think about these things. Think about these things and know that all of us, once we are living on this face of this earth, we have once upon a time in our life passed through that stage of sacrifice, because it's something that we do and we make every single day, giving up something to either regain or to earn or to get something. You know, and that is a sacrifice. Whether what avenue or what choice or what avenue you choose to do it, is between you and your God that you're serving. And also, I would like to tell you all thank you very much. I would like to tell you all I appreciate you all, and you know, there are questions. If anybody have any questions, they can leave it in the comments. If anybody wants anything that they would like to hear a different point of view, I don't want to say my point of view, but a different point of view or a different look at it, you can kindly state it in the comments. For those of you who wish to have a personal conversation and thing, you know, you can message me and I will respond to you as fast as or as soon as I can. Right. You know, and like, leave your comments, share. And wait. Don't forget to follow. But naturally. Hello. Say less. Right. So thank you very much. You know.